All right. Hello, everybody.
Hey, hey,
Yeah, I'm Patrick, and
I'm Zach.
Zach's over there. I'm pointing the wrong way. But welcome to the Jet Lancer listening party. We're just going to be listening to the album straight through and talking about process and stuff like that. And we are definitely open to answering questions, so you can throw questions in the chat.
Yeah,
And
we're just going to kind of listen and talk over things as they come. So if you have a question while a song's going, just throw it in and we'll probably just answer it right away.
yeah. And as soon as we start playing back, if the audio is funky, let us know. If like the volume's off or something like that, but we think we got it pretty good. All right, so here we go from the top. Zach, do you have this thing?
Yeah, I've got it pulled up.
All right, we're gonna play it in sync. In 3, 2, 1, go. So this is the main theme. This was not the first song you wrote, though. This was like,
No,
yeah. When was this?
the sixth. I think this was the sixth song that we wrote in the soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
We essentially we knew there were going to be varying degrees of intensity per level, and so we just kind of started writing songs, whatever kind of came to us, and we threw them over the fence to Vladimir. And this one, as soon as he heard it, he's like, boom, main theme, this is the one.
Yeah. Sometimes the main theme is the first song you write. It's rare, but it happens. And sometimes it's what a developer like really wants us to do, even if we're kind of like, maybe we should wait. But we've been thrown into that before for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely happier when we get some time to work through songs before we do the main theme, but if not, if they want to do the main theme first, then I just spend a lot of extra time on it.
Yeah. Music is a little loud. All right, we're going to turn it down 2 decibels. There we go.
How's that now?
You can let us know in the chat. There's a little bit of delay, but we'll wait for a notice or something. But 2 decibels doesn't make a difference.
Sweet.
There we go. Yay! We fixed it. Yeah, I mean, overall, the soundtrack is pretty loud. It's pretty hot. I think we actually mastered this is pretty loud.
Yeah.
The one song that was really tricky was the piano song.
Oh, yeah.
It's like hard to like put that, master that and make that like sound like it sort of like volume-wise is matching, because it's like kind of a wall of, volume and sound overall.
Yeah.
Did we have...
I didn't even think about that.
Someone's asking inspiration for other game soundtracks. This was more... this was less so that, actually. What was the band? There were a couple different things we were pulling up when we first started talking. Was Horse? Is that the
Horse
name?
the Band was
Horse
one of the
band,
original...
yeah.
Just because they were like straight like metal, post-hardcore, and chiptune, like... and that's like a deep cut from like the Warped Tour scene of hilarious neon bands. But yeah, there weren't so many like game soundtracks that influenced. It was more real actual live bands, like The Fall of Troy, and So I Watch You From Afar. For the metal side of things, like Behemoth, Thy Art Is Murder, and Death Heaven. It's really all over the place.
Yeah. Let's see. I wonder which references Debs gave you for this one and other tracks. I think we didn't really... Once we got rolling, we didn't actually really get references.
Yeah, we just kind of...
Yeah.
We kind of self-referenced.
Yeah.
As we were writing songs, we were like, okay, well, we've got enough of this type of stuff, so let's kind of work in a different direction now and really flesh it out.
Yeah. This is the first track that was written for the game, basically.
No, I think it was track 4.
Was it? Oh, yeah, it was.
This was number 2.
Yeah, sorry. This was number 2. I feel like this sort of really created the range, right?
This is where we got our footing with this song.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually had a couple songs. We had 1 or 2 songs before even kind of what's on the soundtrack. Before, when the game was called Sky Chasers, and even before it was called Sky Chasers. Man, what was it called? Mecha Baran,
Yeah.
yeah. It was definitely more intense, I think. The first like 2 songs we did or something, or they were more
they were
industrial or something, or
we really kind of found the mix, like the production with this song too. Like we were just kind of going for maybe like some generic heavy metal sort of stuff with the previous tracks.
Yeah, I think maybe Doom there was some hints of Doom in there.
I think Doom was thrown around just because it was really fresh.
Yeah, it was fresh and hot.
Project.
Yeah, I mean that was what, 3 years ago or something?
Yeah.
4 years ago? Who knows?
I'm glad that we didn't do Doom though.
Yeah,
like Doom is a great soundtrack, but there's definitely room for other styles of metal and hard rock in games.
Yeah. I think this song was also important because this is the first one I think where we actually did the layering, like, and actually really set it in stone.
Yeah.
Because then you came back to the first song and kind of reskinned it to be able to be implemented in the game, basically.
Yeah. This song especially went through like 3 or 4 different mix changes to really get it to where we wanted it. Yeah.
Well, the problem is we had to compose the song in layers, like, or the way we had to compose it knowing that it was going to be split into literally 4 layers.
Yeah.
There's a layer that's like the chiptune melody. Then there's a layer that's just chiptune drums and chords and bass and stuff. Then there's a layer that's kind of like rock drums and guitar, but not everything. It's kind of a lot of the more like melodic guitar parts.
Yeah.
And then the final layer is like heavy kick and snare, and like even more so than what's already there. And then like wide panned, can't get, my hands are disappearing in the sky, but wide panned, like really heavy, like bass and rock guitar too. Yeah, it was kind of like chordal, like chugging riffs and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of hard to figure that out. It took a while. Favorite chiptune soundtracks? Do we have them?
I really don't. I don't listen to that. It's kind of blasphemous. I don't know. I don't really listen to that many game soundtracks or film soundtracks. I really just listen to a lot of kind of artist-based, like passion project type music. But I really like to think about how I could implement those types of artists in what we do.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to listen to a bunch of video game music and then try to write something that sounds like it, but there's a whole nother thing to bring something fresh to the table just because that's what you like. And if you like video game music, that's totally fine, but those composers also had their own inspirations that weren't just video game music. So it's nice to kind of reach a little bit.
Yeah, one thing that we tend to do with a lot of developers that they don't always expect is we just throw them a bunch of references, and when we talk about music, we usually try to actually not specifically just be like Shovel Knight or whatever, or like Hollow Knight or something. We try not to use other direct soundtracks as references and say, oh, well, we should do it like this game or whatever, right?
Yeah.
We try to throw in a lot of non-game music in inspirations, because I think that also just makes it more interesting. We're always trying to do things that are, interesting. Like, instead of just kind of just copying something, right?
How do we split up roles? So this song was written by Pat. Essentially, we take songs individually and we try to split up the songs and the soundtrack as evenly as possible, and we do the same thing with sound effects. So occasionally we'll kind of go into each other's sessions and tweak things, but generally one of us will write the entire song. Yeah, it's collaborative in the whole soundtrack, but and definitely in direction as we're building stuff. But in general, so this was the first song written and approved for the soundtrack. Also, if you're in the chat and listening, stream us on Spotify, grab it on Bandcamp. Spotify really helps us just kind of reach a wider audience. Yeah. If you're going to stream it, please use Spotify, because it helps tremendously, rather than like just listening on Bandcamp or whatever. But of course, if you're going to buy it on Bandcamp. Disomicron, we tag team for ear fatigue. We definitely do. Hold out a hand and a lot of times what we'll do is like sometimes we'll just work on something for a while and just be like, I worked on this too long, I'm just going to export it as an MP3 and just throw it in our chat and just be like, here's something, like, I'm going to stop here, but like you should throw in some feedback so that when I come back to fresh ears, like I can be a little more focused, Yeah.
definitely helps a lot.
I think we've gotten really good at giving each other feedback over the years.
Yeah. It's not easy to, like, do creative stuff in a partnership. Like, it's hard to find people, just like people that are in bands, right? It's, like, hard to find people that you can work with, you know? And that you can sort of, you know, be in sync with in terms of knowing what each other's thinking and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think we've gotten pretty slick at that overall.
While the OST is not on Steam, but you can get it, you can download it on our Bandcamp. Now the link is in the about of this page.
Yes,
it's $5 if you would like it.
What are our favorite tracks in the soundtrack?
I really.
What do you think?
Of yours, Afterburner, I think is my favorite.
Which one is
and
that?
I also. That's
I don't even know the song names. It's sad.
That's track 8, the one that I put up.
Is that the really hard, like, metal one?
No, it's the one that starts.
Oh, yeah. No, isn't that? That's Sierra Alpha Bravo.
Or that one, Bravo. Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
that one.
Sorry.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I named all of these songs in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. There's a lot of moments in that song I like a lot. That was the first one I wrote for the soundtrack, actually. You were kind of spearheading the beginning of this, and I think that's where I latched on. And I was like, I'm going to write something that's going to be the most happy. because this soundtrack was more of a reach for me than it was for you. And so I was like, I'm going to start with like something that's a little more comfy for me, and then I'm going to move more aggressive as I go.
Yeah. I did kind of the opposite. I mostly stayed hard the whole time.
I feel like you got less hard. I don't know.
I did.
I think you got a little less hard.
Well, I really wanted to get like the two that are super hard like out of the way.
That makes sense.
So that we had kind of a frame of reference for the intensity.
My favorite song of yours is probably is actually the trailer, the most recent trailer. I just thought it was really slick. I know that wasn't actually technically in the game, but I
like that one too. That was a lot of fun. My brother actually watched me write that. He was like, he's a writer, and he was kind of having like, he's kind of figuring out his way as an artist. And so I was like, well, just come over and watch me work, and maybe it'll inspire you to, you know, figure something out. And I did that song in like 3 hours. And sent it off to Armor, and they were like, yep, good to go. I think that was the fastest I've ever worked on something like that.
Yeah. Well, I felt like it was a really good marriage of a lot of different things that were in the soundtrack, basically. A lot of the trailer music before that was a lot of the more aggressive kind of rock metal stuff. And I liked that one was kind of like somewhere in between, and it still had so much hype and stuff. But
yeah. I wanted an excuse to do some crazy tappy stuff, too.
Yeah, there you go. Do you ask other audio people for feedback too sometimes?
Not really.
Not really. I know that, we generally don't. I think that if we worked solo each, we definitely would. But because we can just bounce things off each other, it's invaluable just to have another ear, you know?
I show my friends stuff that I'm working on, but like in person, and I don't really like ask for feedback. I'm just like, hey, I'm hype about this. Get hype with me.
Yeah. I'll do that sometimes. Just throw in like something and be like, hey, I just was working on this and I'm just like really excited about it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, usually not as much for constructive feedback. They're asking, let's see, what instruments do we play? Guitar and piano. Yeah, we definitely both do that. We both play bass.
Didgeridoo.
Oh yeah, you do play didgeridoo.
I'm actually putting didgeridoo on a soundtrack right now.
Yeah, there you go. You're finally getting to use it.
Yeah.
I can play ukulele pretty well. What else can I play? I play bass pretty legit. A lot of people are guitar players that can play bass, but like I've had to play bass a lot in like a lot of bands and stuff like that, in different genres and stuff. So I
definitely wouldn't call myself a bass player. I mean, I can.
You can play bass.
Yeah, I can do it like, you know, I can do like basic stuff, but I definitely wouldn't feel comfortable like performing out in a band on bass.
Yeah, you can play mandolin a little bit. You did it on something.
But I'm left-handed, so I've only ever played mandolin upside down.
Oh yeah, so. That's a little weird. I used to play violin growing up.
Yeah.
That was a really fun song to do, the world map one.
I like that song a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it so often in the game, right? It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's a good contrast for what's going on in the game. You know.
It has a nice trajectory too. There's the soft moments, and then it kind of builds up a bit, but it never gets too crazy.
Yeah. Toe was definitely an inspiration for that.
Yeah, Toe is a great band.
Yeah, Toe was definitely in my listening pool when I was working on that. This is that song, right? This is that one you're talking about?
Yeah, this is the one.
Yeah. I kept thinking, is this intro too long? Every time I'd work on this, I was like, this intro is too long. But
I think
it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, well, in the missions, you don't really get going until the main riff comes in anyway, so.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was just a fun one to do. And I don't know. There's definitely maybe some Weezer-ish moments in here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Growing up, I listened to Blue Album.
I really like this part right here with the double time tom and snare thing. That's where it goes from the drum beats here really kind of keep it modern and fresh. You could just do something kind of pokey and halftime or just really basic, but
yeah,
I think the drum beats are really what keep everything fresh and interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the guitar parts are really cool too, but framed around the drums is what really makes it, I think.
This part coming up is my favorite part. Well, no, it's my second. I like this part a lot, but then the very ending I like a lot too. It's one of my parts. I was like, yeah, this is cool. There's a lot of hammer-ons in this album.
Yeah.
There's a lot of open string to hammer-ons. I did maybe too much of it. I don't know, but I didn't use it a lot.
I really liked that we had the option of synthesizers for melody, because it kind of helped us do some things that we wouldn't normally be able to do on guitar, really crazy leads and stuff, and simulate that in a workable way.
Yeah. One of the tricky bits was trying to translate some of these guitar parts to chip for the chip layer, the actual chiptune layer. Sometimes it was just done by hand. Sometimes I used Melodyne. I don't know if you did that, but I would actually record the part in Melodyne and export it as MIDI, and it would be mostly correct. I probably should have told you about that.
Yeah, that would have been nice to know.
This part I liked a lot. I don't know. I was doing this part. I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is one of my more favorite parts of the song, definitely. But anyways, yeah. The song has a lot of different drum parts and stuff like that. I did this almost in pieces at first. I almost came up with 3 different sections and then just figured out how to put them together instead of kind of writing it linear like I normally would. Yeah, because it was the first. No, it wasn't the first song. Was it the first song? Yeah, I think. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That was the second song I wrote. I think maybe I can't remember.
I think the first song you wrote might have been the.
We haven't heard it yet. No, it's not. It's coming up. I can't remember.
This one is this one I wrote. This one's heavily inspired by. I grew up listening to all the Warped Tour post-hardcore bands from the mid 2000s, Chiodos and Under Oath and Devil Wears Prada and all that stuff.
Zach can literally name every rock band that's ever existed. He knows every single rock band of any type.
I have a voracious musical appetite, I'd say. This one's also kind of Circa Survive-y.
Yeah, it's got some dramatic moments.
I like this. Wait for the bass slide. Here it comes.
Yeah. It was fun to have actual bass. A lot of soundtracks where we have what sounds like a real bass, it's actually not a real bass. It's just a sampled bass or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes because we're lazy, sometimes because we know we need the ability to be able to change it and tweak it really easily, and using sample instruments provides that.
Yeah.
But because we really strongly knew the vision for this, we were ouch. Also, it was really necessary to sell this over better,
Yeah. How did we come up with ideas for the songs? A lot of these, for me, started with drum beats, because it was just easier for me to kind of lay down a riff when I had a drum beat to kind of inform what the rhythm would be. So it would really be a drum beat and then a guitar riff, or some sort of progression. And I would usually work through like whatever the main verse or whatever the first thing. I kind of work linearly most of the time. Verse, chorus, bridge, final chorus, outro sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's for me. That's mostly how it came about.
Yeah. I write things kind of differently depending on whatever. Sometimes I will play chords on guitar and then just like hum along a melody and record that on my phone, save it for later, and actually like execute it. Sometimes I will do what Zach was talking about and make a drum beat, because I know like the mood, like the groove and the tempo and everything I'm going for, and I'll use that as a starting point and then play on top of that and just come up with ideas and sort of like split those into sections and basically create create a starting point out of that, you know. But yeah, a little bit all over the place. This was the first song I wrote.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember playing the guitar part and just be like, this is really annoying to play. Because it's kind of like an endless stream, and the fingering
crazy.
and the fingering is a little bit awkward to play. Like, or at least it was awkward for me. Like, for the fingering of it was awkward for what my fingers just normally do. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know.
You mean you didn't do this in one take?
Oh, I did, but I was complaining the whole time. Yeah, it worked out pretty well. I like the I think the middle point of this or something, sort of bridge song really switches gears. But yeah, this song was a learning process for me because I was just trying to figure out how I could do this soundtrack, basically.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's just not this. I played a lot of rock. It's just that I'm definitely more of like a 90s rock guy in terms of like what's in my wheelhouse, you know? And so this whole soundtrack was just a little bit of a reach for me. And I'm happy I did it, and I think it all worked out really well. But this song definitely was me kind of trying to learn things and get into it, you know?
Yeah, Tim, for references, we actually have a sheet, a notes sheet. For this game, specifically, we have a notes sheet of all of the references that we initially were talking about.
Yeah.
It was mostly for Pat because, like he just said, like this stuff really wasn't in his wheelhouse. So I just kind of made a playlist for him to listen to.
Yeah, gave me homework.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't even have to like everything. It was essentially like, I just kind of threw a bunch at you so that you could listen and like be like, oh, well, this is actually kind of cool. I can take something from this, or you know, just little bits and pieces from other places. But yeah, we always use references for everything that we do. It just makes things so much more streamlined.
Yeah, it's helpful to also to be able to come back to those if you're just kind of like in the middle of something, you're a little bit lost. Sometimes it helps to just listen to some stuff for a while. I'd say it's more Zach's speed, definitely. I mean,
it's definitely. I mean, I grew up listening to tons of metal and post-hardcore, and all the emo and whatnot. So
now you did play in a band that was very Weezer-ish, though.
Yeah,
you were losing controllers.
Losing controllers was Weezer-ish. Forge a Plan was kind of Weezer-y.
A little bit.
We liked Weezer.
Yeah, you didn't sound like Weezer, though. But I mean, yeah, losing controllers. I mean, that the robotic song was straight up like.
Yeah.
That was a Weezer song. But
I also played in a couple metal bands in high school.
Do you still have those videos up of you giving like metal guitar instruction on like Facebook videos or something like that?
Oh, probably. I haven't.
You were like 13.
Yeah.
This is how you tap out solo.
Those are for the vault.
Yeah.
So this one is inspired by like Behemoth and Death Heaven. Pretty much equally. I wanted to do something with blast beats. No, we didn't. I mean, I didn't know it would be in the song that they would want for the trailer. But I'm definitely glad that they picked it. Because I think it got, it turned some heads because it's kind of so out there. But once we made it the first trailer song, there was nowhere to go from there, so we kind of sidestepped, and that's why the launch trailer was so different. It wasn't necessarily heavier, but it was just you know, it was just something different. So that was something that we kind of had to figure out.
This is one of the few solos in the soundtrack. Is this the only solo? Like straight solo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I wanted to make it super crazy, because like if you're only going to do one solo, it better be good.
This is true. One take.
Oh yeah, one take. And there's another one later on in the song too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just watching this like live Death Heaven video, and I was just like, the drummer just like goes for like 7 minutes, just straight blast beats, and I'm like, I could do something like that, but not. I could just program it.
Yeah,
that's how that came about.
You know what's funny about the Discord is we literally just figured out right before the stream that we had to click on. We had to actually look at the rules page to actually get into the general chat.
Yeah.
We got on the Discord and there's all these hidden channels, right? You know, because we're a developer, right? We're part of the team, and so we just thought those were the channels. Apparently, there was a general channel that we had no idea, and you had to look at the rules to access it.
Because Ryan from Armor, he told us like on launch day, like, oh, you know, hop in the Jetlancer chat. It's like popping off, and I'm like, you mean like the bug? The
bug bug reports are off the chain.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't know. We didn't know, but now we do.
Yeah.
But no, they were really great to work with. Yeah, I mean, Vlad was really, he was kind of one we were working on with early on, very early on, and he's just really easy to work with. He gave us a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
He's like, just do something cool. Whatever you do, it needs to be cool, but he had a lot of trust in us, which is great.
Yeah.
It's,
He was very quick to like approve stuff that we did, and we were very self-critical and made sure that like even though he was approving stuff, we wanted it to be the absolute best that we could possibly make it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we didn't really talk to Nikolai too much, like during development. Like we obviously talked to him, but not necessarily have a lot of direct conversations related to development.
Yeah.
But he did some super awesome stuff. I remember when we first saw the boss death thing, the animation of the boss dies, just threw that at us like privately, and we're like, oh, like cannot wait to do sound design over that, man. It's so cool. Yes, this was actually my first attempt to try and do something like heavy on this album. It turned out alright. It was definitely
I like it.
It was a reach for me.
It sounds like Killswitch Engage. Did I put that in the references? I can't even remember.
I don't. Maybe. I don't remember anymore.
But I know that you don't listen to Killswitch Engage, which is why I love that it sounds like Killswitch Engage.
It was probably not intentional, yeah. I mean, I'm happy with how it turned out, but it was definitely a reach for me. This was also the one that I down-tuned on. I think, like, I didn't necessarily down-tune on a lot of songs on this, but this one I definitely did, and I don't know if my guitar really handled it too well, but I made it work. I didn't have my SG that I've got now. It's like just a Fender with single coils. It's just like not meant to do this music.
Yeah.
But I was able to kind of hair it up with distortion a lot, make it work.
Who did the meow sound? I did the meow sound effect. I can't remember if I did it myself or if I just had a cat meow sound effect in our.
Might have been your voice. Those kinds of things are so easy to do yourself. It's hard to get like a good meow.
Yeah,
you know, like
I thought about miking my cat,
Yeah.
but that was too much work.
Yeah. We need growling vocals. Yeah.
I did teach myself to scream this past year.
Yeah.
Like, actually, like professionally, which came in handy on some other soundtracks.
Yeah.
We did do all of the sound design as well.
Yeah. Every audio aspect of the game we did. We also do a lot of sound design. We do gigs where all we do is sound design. We don't do the music. That happens occasionally, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was good for us to kind of branch off into sound design. Initially, we were just doing music.
Yeah.
And it really helped us kind of land more gigs and meet more people.
Yeah.
And
Well,
really just improve our skills too. Like I
Yeah,
found that my music production got better when I was doing sound design.
yes. Yeah. It's sort of thing where you start doing it because you're like, I should probably do this, and I can see that we might get more gigs this way, and that there's demand for it. Everyone keeps asking us if we else to do it, but then you learn to love it. Like it's its own craft, and it's like super cool. Like I
Yeah.
love doing sound design. What is this? Guys, can't imagine how many times I watch this. Well, I'm
so
glad.
much.
Yeah, that's always a nice comment. I love that.
This was my half gent Doom whatever. We had to have one.
You just posted how you don't want any more gent music in games
Yeah.
in 2020.
Well, this was. This
You
is
get
it.
one. You get one.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of room for different types of metal music, and just because Doom was a really great and successful soundtrack,
Yeah.
it seems like a lot of people are trying to kind of like copy that.
Yeah.
And I would just rather listen to the Doom soundtrack. So I just want people to kind of do their own thing and not.
Yeah.
Well,
there's
there's
also
like gent is kind of like there's only so much you can do with it.
yeah.
It's
Well,
cutting.
but there's a distinction too, because gent is not Doom and Doom is not gent. But like it's not like Doom is the only piece of music that sounds like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of people that play games don't necessarily know about gent maybe. They know the
definitely.
Doom soundtrack more than they know the actual genre that's kind of like got all that in it, you know? But yeah, it is kind of it is sort of a limiting genre, right? There are some
it's
genres
just
of music that are like,
it's one note syncopated,
Yeah.
really heavy.
oh, it's spelled D-J-E-N-T. It's like
Yeah.
degent. D-J-E-N-T. Look it up.
This part was inspired by Converge, who are like a super insanely heavy post-hardcore band. Converge is awesome. I love them a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some funny
Yeah.
videos like the state of gent music 2018,
Yeah.
2017, 2019. It's like this
You
one
play
guy.
your gent stick, and
Yeah.
it's like one string.
Yeah. It's-
Tim, a good band in that genre is Car Bomb. Car Bomb is crazy, and Meshuggah is like the classic gent band.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, we haven't done rap rock songs, but we've done credits songs where there's lyrics, like Battle Chef Brigade. We've
We've done a lot of like
that.
anime ending songs.
Yes.
Like super like cheesy bell synths and stuff, which I love. Like it's
Yeah.
so much fun to do.
Yeah. Visual novel. I mean, two of them recently.
Yeah.
Gotten to do some lyric kind of stuff. I rapped in a song.
It turned out really good.
It did. I was very surprised. I was very proud of myself because I was like, "There's no way this is gonna be good. Like I've never done this before. This is gonna be garbage." But yeah, we can't talk about it. There will be news about it, I think, in June, basically.
Yeah.
And then we can talk all about it. But we can't talk about it until then. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It turned out all right.
Yeah.
Celerba's here. Max, just so you know, that same project, Anton does a rap on it too. It's pretty cool.
Anton is crazy talented.
Yes. So this is the song, right? This is like, why is this song here, right? If you're listening to the soundtrack and you haven't played the game, you might listen and be like, this is out of nowhere, right? But yeah, Vlad basically asked us to make something like this. He was like, I want to make an emotional piano piece, basically, for a moment in the game that's like that has emotional significance. So yeah, basically, it was a weird song to write. But yeah, you know what's weird is this was actually written like this, what you're hearing right now, and I did about a minute of it with guitar and drums and everything, like heavy rock with the piano. It was almost like rock orchestral sort of stuff to try to kind of tie it in with the rest of the soundtrack. And he was like, no, just piano. You know,
I'm glad because it really stands out.
yeah, it was fun to do. This is like my wheelhouse. Like this is something I can do like every day, all day. So I was very happy to do this one because I can totally do that. We do have it. And I could maybe pull it up. I don't think it's gonna be a big deal to throw up it.
Yeah, we can put it on Twitter sometime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can just when this thing is over.
Oh yeah.
I'll throw it up
'Cause
real quick. It's easy for me to just pull up and show you. But yeah, I'll show you. It's very short. Like I said, it's not long. But yeah, it'll be interesting. This was split up into layers too, which was interesting. This was layered up in the game just like the other music. It's like the melody and cello. There's a little subtle cello in it. Are split. So there's kind of a very simple minimalistic piano part if you just listen to one layer. Which is kind of cool. Although in game, I'm not sure if we ended up really doing that. I can't remember. I have to look back because it's such a short thing that it may have not just been needed. But it was kind of cool actually. The first layer was kind of cool by itself. But yeah, basically it just made sense to not have it be a rock song, despite like me really trying hard to like make it into a rock song. It's cool, but it didn't make sense for the soundtrack.
Yep.
We have
thanks for
2 songs left.
Being here, everybody who's still watching. This is the credit song, and the final song after this is the bonus track, which was the launch trailer song. But just remember to follow us on Spotify, check out our Bandcamp, save the album on Spotify. It helps us a ton. Yeah. I liked doing this song a lot. It was just fun to come back to that the main theme. I didn't plug in my guitar for this one. I literally just took the guitar parts.
Just straight remix.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not touching my guitar. I'm just gonna remix it.
Yeah, we were like, I don't want to play that again.
Yeah.
No, it worked out really well though. I think this is a really cool remix of it. Songs end up being unused. Only like the first 2 songs, 1 or 2.
Yeah, but that's because they were bad.
well, they just weren't the right direction for the game. They were those much harder, almost more Doom-esque kind of sounding songs that we just didn't end up going with. It was just a direction we didn't want to take, basically, after a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we've ever done a soundtrack where there isn't a B-side somewhere, you know? That's just life. That's part of development, you know? You're gonna have some stuff that gets thrown by the wayside. It's rarely ever a whole song, though. It's like a pitch, right? We always do like 30 seconds to a minute. We send that to developers, say, what do you think, right? And then we go from there, right? So there are occasionally songs that get scrapped. We label them B-sides and keep them somewhere so we can look at them sometimes and say, that was cool. But you might release the unused songs. Probably not, because it just doesn't fit the soundtrack, you know?
Yeah.
We could do something like that using it on another soundtrack or whatever, but it's
I would have to listen to it.
Yeah, it almost never happens where we do that sort of thing because every project is different.
We'd
rather just do something new.
fresh.
Yeah, because we've gotten better by the time that we look back at that song, we're like, that song was all right.
Salt and Salt. I don't know who that is.
Salt and Salt. I don't know. Yeah, we thought about doing a B-sides album, actually. We talked about it. But it's all these short little snippets. It doesn't really make sense. And we're not necessarily proud of all of it, right? Especially looking back now. I mean, we got stuff that's like years and years old. But yeah, this one I like. It's got a couple moments in it that are almost more scoring anime sort of thing. You got some fun chord changes that are unexpected.
Yeah, I had to pack a lot into like the 50 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, you got to arc it to fit the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the album. I'm gonna pull up this thing. Just you're here, so you might as well get a treat, right? Let me see if I can find it. Black Knight.
Good game, everybody.
Good game. Where is it? I could have sworn that I kept it.
The bait and switch.
I know. I still have the session, but for some reason I cannot find the bounce of it. However, I think. Hang on one second. That's not it. No, that's not it. Hang on. You're probably hearing all my stuff on my computer. I'm gonna pull up. I'm just gonna pull up the session. It might be a little. I'm gonna try to turn it down here so it's not super loud. But yeah, I'm just gonna open up Pro Tools and we'll see if it doesn't go crazy. I got all kinds of weird routing going on to make this stream work, so it should be okay. But you're gonna have to bear with me a moment. Let's see. Do we have any more questions here? Games that we play regularly. Why don't you answer that?
I used to game a ton as a kid, and then I stopped for a really long time, and I just picked it back up a few years ago when I got a Switch. So I've been kind of like rediscovering my love for playing games. Recently, I just played through Suikoden 2. I had never played that before, and that was really great. And I played Golf Story recently, and I can't remember what else. But stuff that I play regularly, I play Dead Cells occasionally, just kind of, it's a fun just to pick up and play for an hour or so. I just played Ni no Kuni. That was really great. I played just a lot of like single player story driven games, not necessarily like just story, but games that are like about kind of atmosphere, and you don't have to be like you don't have to constantly die, basically.
Okay, let's see if we can do this, all right? Let's see. I don't know if everything's loaded, but we'll see. Hang on a second. Just double check. Hopefully all the samples still work. This is like an older session now, but I think that everything's loaded. Let me just play it. Let's see. Let's see if... Yeah, it looks like it's coming through. All right, so here it is. This is the... scrapped one. It'll kick in a minute. It kind of starts out like this, and then it's gonna kick into kind of full rock. Get some strings and, you know, hi-hat stuff. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to listen on the stream so I can.
Oh yeah, you can't hear it. Yeah, it'll kick into
That's funny.
full rock here.
I kind of vaguely remember you doing this, but.
Yeah, I mean, this is like rough, right? This isn't like fully mixed or whatever. This was just a pitch, right? So, you know, keep that in mind. Be gentle on me. Yeah.
It's not mastered for iTunes yet.
But yeah, it's, you know, I think it sounds really cool on its own, right? But it just didn't make sense with the game, right? Sometimes that happens, where a song... And then that was the end. It kind of loops around at that point. Because I didn't finish it, right? That's where I just left off with that pitch, and then I just continued on and finished out the piano and cello version. But yeah, it's, you know, that sort of stuff happens, you know. Usually we'll try to keep stuff like that. I'm glad I kept it, so you could see it. Let's see. But, yeah, I mean, sometimes you just don't finish a song like that, or you go a different direction. We usually save as and keep an old version of it just so that we can come back to it.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah, cover our butts, but also so that we can look back on it fondly like this. Real quick, guess games that I play. I just play a bunch of co-op online games. The reason why is because I have allocated video game time every week because I got kids and basically just put them to bed, and then 3 nights a week I play games. And I have a buddy, kind of my best friend growing up, he lives in Canada now, and we just play games together. So we basically just play competitive multiplayer games or co-op multiplayer games. And but sometimes we play with my brother and stuff like that. So a lot of times we'll get out Parsec and stuff like that and play some local games together too. We're playing a lot of Ultimate Chicken Horse right now. I remember,
that's fun.
Yeah, I played it. I remember playing at GDC. It was being shown off because it was in IGF, and I played it. I was like, this is really cool. And then I just totally forgot about it. And then more recently, I remembered and just been playing it a lot with friends. It's a really fun kind of just party game. Yeah, it's just a lot of laughs and silly. But yeah, I mean, I played a lot of first-person shooter games, and I do play roguelikes, but I'm a little burned out on them right now. I played a whole lot of roguelikes recently, so I'm waiting for Risk of Rain 2 to fully launch, and then I'll probably dive into that. It'll be the next roguelike I play.
Risk of Rain 2?
Yeah.
It's out.
Well, it's not out. It's out, but the actual 1.0 version is not out yet. right?
Oh, I mean, I have it on Switch. I don't know if that's 1.0.
Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, that's such a cool game because it's the first time I've ever seen like a 2D game go to 3D and literally be the same game. Like they really like got it. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
formula is still there and really fun. Um, but anyways, are there any more little questions here? Oh, someone's asking if we scored any films.
A, a few.
Yeah.
Nothing that I'm like really like excited about that I would like want to show somebody, but I mean, I've definitely like that's actually how I first started getting into like composing, as I wanted to be a film composer, and we just kind of like fell into games. It just kind of like St. Louis, where we live, has a really awesome, supportive game dev community, and we were able to meet like a lot of cool people going to game jams and meetups and stuff, and we just kind of
Mhm.
fell into it. And so the film composing just kind of like fell by the wayside for me, and we just kind of went all in on games, and I really like it. I would love to do films in the future, but I'm totally happy doing games for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there was a period of time where we tried to maybe get into using audio for production, commercials and films and stuff like that, like as actually kind of like fat barred. But we quickly saw that we were just kind of better off just sort of following the path that was really going well for us, which was games.
Yeah.
But anyways, is there some sort of project you'd really like to score once you haven't had a chance to score yet? Like a kind of genre or something. Well, you're fulfilling your dream of doing a Digimon World, right? Or Digimon.
Yeah. Digimon World
Yeah.
is a game that I grew up with. Uh, it's like a major part of my childhood, and there's a dev team that's just kind of recreating it on Twitter. And one day they like threw it. I've just been following them because I think they're doing a really great job. And one day they just like threw out, hey, we're looking for an audio person. So I just hit them up. And so I've been reverse engineering like all of the sound effects and all of the music. I'm just kind of trying to do my best to like do not even do like a modern take on it, but just like really like sound exactly like it. Just it's a personal challenge of mine, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that can be a
Um,
fun thing to do.
yeah.
Reverse engineer. Um, is there a difference between being game composer and film composer? It's very there are a lot of differences. Yeah, I mean, film composer, you're working for linear media where it begins and ends at a set point. Like there's a clear start and
Mm-hmm.
end. Game music,
We have
there's
a lot more freedom with game music.
yeah, it's a lot of creative ways to implement. That's the key word here. Like putting the music into the game. Like how do you want to do it creatively, right? And there's tons of great games that are examples of that, right? The way we kind of did it in this game was we used those different layers, right? So like when a boss shoots a big old laser beam, you go boom, right? And then you hear the chip layer can happen, but then all the like rock instruments can drop out, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then when it goes like back up, and the laser's gone, you hear all those rock instruments again. It's really fun. It's very different, but I like it a lot because then every project is a challenge, and when you're starting out the project, you get to be really creative and make design docs and stuff like that to convey like what you think would be a cool way to put the music in the game instead of just being like, here's a looping song that goes in the
Yeah.
forest.
I
You know?
think we also like at working in games versus film, you're I feel like you have a bit more of a hands-on approach than in film, because
Yeah.
essentially like when you work in film, you're generally just scoring to a picture that's already set. Um, and you're meeting the director's vision. And it can be a collaborative process, but at the end of the day, you have to make sure that the moment is right and you score it to the picture as best as possible. And that can be a challenge.
Hmm.
Um, and with game music, uh, it's there's more leeway to kind of influence how the project goes over time. Um, and you can kind of iterate a lot easier
Hmm.
than when you're working in film, because you could write something and the game dev is like, oh, this is awesome, this makes me want to do this, and then they do it. which totally happens in film as well, but I think it happens to a lesser degree.
Yeah. I just like game people better than film people. I'm not going to lie. I know there's definitely exceptions and obvious all that stuff, but in general, I've in all the experiences I've had, I've always liked working with game people over film people. Game people are way more down to earth and open and much more collaborative overall. And it really makes it fun. Yeah, I know, shots fired. It was me, not Zach. So when Zach goes into does films in the future, he'll be safe. It'll be my. But don't worry, I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of film scoring. But yeah, I just like working in games a lot. I mean, not just because obviously we're both gamers, but I just like the process. I really, really like the process. I like the creativity. I like the fact that we get to make music, like such a huge wide variety of music, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the music we put out in like the last year is just like all over the damn place. Like, we've definitely done some guitar centric stuff, but like we've done electronic, like Levelhead's just purely like there's no guitar in Levelhead's, just all electronic, right?
There's acoustic guitar, I believe, in the one song.
Damn.
Just the one.
Damn. Almost.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought that would be. I mean, it's not a bad thing that it's in there. I just I don't know why I was like, this song needs guitar.
That's fine. But yeah, we're kind of all over the place. It's awesome. It's awesome to make orchestral stuff and electronic stuff and rock stuff and metal stuff and anything.
We definitely try to. We don't want to put ourselves in a box. We want to. We feel comfortable doing a lot of different styles, and we want people to know that we can do that because we love the opportunity to do something different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we're going to learn and we're going to get better.
I mean, we're happy to do stuff like Jet Lancer, a bunch of times. But getting kind of pegged as like the rock chiptune composer.
Yeah, we don't want to be those people.
Yeah, it's really nice for us to be able to juggle different projects, doing different things, and then we can kind of come back to a project with a fresh perspective or whatever.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Is there? Let's see. I think we've answered just about all the questions. Do you have any closing thoughts, Zach?
Not really. If you like what we did tonight, this stream, I mean, we would love to do this again, for a different soundtrack, maybe one that's also recently released or something that we'll release in the future. So just kind of like follow us on Twitter and stuff and keep up to date, and we'll post stuff. Generally we'll post new music, and if we want to do something like this, we'll post about it. We're actually, we'll be going live with an interview with the sound test on YouTube on Friday at 1 p.m. CST. I believe.
Yes. Yeah. I hope it is. Otherwise, we're not going to make it. If we got our time zones wrong. I'm positive. Yeah, it's 1 p.m.
Yeah.
CST.
Yeah. And just make sure to follow us on Twitter and Spotify and
like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Spotify really does help us. It's one of the ways that we can reach a wider audience, and it helps us as independent musicians.
Yes. Yeah. Spotify is the kind of thing that's like a slowly building thing. It's just like this giant. We're slowly like trying to get this rock up a hill, basically, and getting everybody on board and following us on and streaming on Spotify really, really helps. It's going to be slow, just slow build for us. It really helps us a lot, though.
Yeah.
It's definitely nice if you can do that. But yeah, well, cool. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and for listening.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to sneak in a little secret thing at the very end there, and with that rock version of the piano tune, the Black Knight song. So, awesome. Well, yeah, we'll just see you on our other things. We'll see you on the Twitterverse and all that stuff, and we will talk to y'all later. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.